The third friend, those two friendships that I've just talked about are more sort of the lifelong, long-term friendships, or friendships for quite a long season. This next type of friendship is what I've called right thing at the right moment. And this is kind of what, if you think about in the Bible where it talks about neighbours, if you think about where the Pharisees came to Jesus and said, "Who is my neighbour?" And he talked about the Good Samaritan, right thing at the right moment. Don't know if you know Esther Kiernan, who goes to this church, Esther and Gareth. They do the breakfast for the worship, used to, I'm not sure if they still do. Esther actually lives in the same neighbourhood as me, and at same stage of my life where I was, getting used to a newborn baby. My husband Matt's a cop, and he was on night shift, and that's 7 nights in a row. And so he would be away all night, and I would be dealing with Zoe on my own, and then he would be sleeping all day, so I'd be trying to keep her quiet. We have a very noisy house. And there was this particular day where I just had too many nights in a row of only like 4 hours of sleep a night or something. And I was trying to keep her quiet, and I couldn't get her to sleep all day. I just couldn't get her to sleep. And it got to about, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd been on the phone to my mum saying, "What do I do?" And she said, "Just walk." She said, "I don't know how many Ks I covered when I had babies." But so I took Zoe out for a walk, and I ran into Esther, who was also out for a walk. And I said, "I'm trying to get Zoe to sleep." And she looked in the pram and she said, "She doesn't look very sleepy." I said, "No, she's not." And I was trying to hold it together, but it wasn't doing very well. And Esther just said to me, "Oh, could I drop by later?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Thinking, I don't want to entertain people right now. Esther came back at about 5 o'clock, and she had cooked dinner for me and Matt. She had bought this little sleep wrap, cozy little sleep wrap thing that's meant to help babies sleep better. And we tried it out on Zoe, and she just sat with me for about, an hour or something, and we just chatted. Again, nothing deep and meaningful. But it was just that thoughtfulness, the right thing at the right moment. And it was a few weeks later, but where I had things a bit more together. And I went to drop around a bunch of flowers just to say thank you. And she was quite embarrassed, and she said, "That was nothing, And to her, it was nothing. It was really easy for her to do that. And she said, "I had a nanny, and I was sweet." But for me, it was massive. It was huge what she did. The right thing at the right moment. And I think the key to that is, how you often get a thought in your head that says, "You should call that person," or "You should drop by and see that person," or "That little gift would be quite nice for that person," or you're leaving somewhere and you see someone, you think, "Oh, I wonder if they want a lift," and you think, "Oh, it might be a bit odd." I believe that is the voice of the Holy Spirit. Excuse me. And those acts of friendship are so powerful, they just go way beyond the effort that we put into them. The thing that I really want to, if you forget everything else that I say, and I don't have a whole lot to say tonight, but if you forget everything else that I say, I want you to remember this. Friendship is a choice. So we have to choose to be a friend. There is a moment where you make a decision and you think, "I'm going to be a friend to that person." And also, friendship is a commitment. So whether it's a commitment for a moment, where you think, you have that thought, and you think, and you go, "Yes, I'm going to do it." That's a commitment. Or whether the commitment is for a season, or whether the commitment is for a lifetime, it's a commitment. It's intentional. It doesn't just happen. I just want to touch a little bit on friendship in church. The church in the Western world. Nice. The church gets a lot of bad press, and you hear a lot about declining numbers and all sorts of negative stuff. And it's easy to, people tend to say, in the media especially, they'll say, people are not turning to Christianity as much as they're turning to this or that or the other thing. I don't think that's actually true. I don't have any statistics to back this up, But I think people are turning to God in just as great, if not greater numbers, here in New Zealand at least, as ever they have before. But perhaps the reason that people don't come to church as much as they used to is that maybe we're not as good at doing friendship. Maybe we don't build community like we need to. I think finding God is not actually that hard. He says, I will be found by you. If you seek me, you shall find me. If you seek me with all your heart. Finding friends is probably a lot harder than finding God. So it doesn't, our worship team are awesome. And we have some awesome leaders and teachers. We have some awesome outreaches. But in a sense, it doesn't come to nothing, but in a sense it doesn't sustain if we're not good at building community amongst ourselves and with the people that we bring in.